Hello and welcome to the Learning Love podcast. This is where we learn what love is and how to live a life of love in every area. My name is Dr. Mark A. Hicks, author of the book Learning Love. Love can be practical, tangible, and a realistic life for everyone, regardless of your relationship experiences so far. So thank you for joining me as we spend some time learning love.
Love is the answer. Now all we have to do is explore all the questions. And today's question is, what do we do about family during the holidays? It's that time of year. I'm recording this in November, and we are quickly approaching the holiday season. We've got Thanksgiving. We've got Christmas. We've got New Year's. Those are the holidays that my family celebrates in our tradition. There's other holidays that other people celebrate. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, lots of holidays this time of year. And regardless of your background, regardless of what holidays you celebrate or how you celebrate them, many of us are asking the same question. How are we going to deal with our families? Families are tricky. We hope that we have a healthy, happy, thriving family. Some people do. Many people do not. And that becomes particularly difficult during holiday seasons because we want the holidays to go well. We want to experience it with family. We want to have a good time and have a beautiful holiday. We want these things, and yet we have to deal with some difficult family situations. So today we're going to talk about how to make it through the holidays as stress-free as possible when it comes to dealing with the relationships in your life. It may be family primarily, but let's not forget that we also have relationships at work or maybe community or church. And even though those aren't the focus of our holiday season, we still have office parties or church parties or community parties where we want to participate, and yet we may have people there that we've been avoiding all year. People that we've been trying to stay away from, that we've structured our work or our community activity to stay away from certain individuals, and that gets more difficult in these social situations that we have during the holidays. So let's talk about how to deal with relationships, primarily family, but really any relationship during the holidays as we have these gatherings. How do we deal with the difficult people that we so often have to face when we get together? So I'm going to give you a few things early in this program of just things to keep in mind, ways to plan, ways to prepare, and then to conclude the program today, we're going to talk about a few very practical how-tos, really practical steps that you can do to make sure you're prepared and doing the right thing to take care of yourself. But first, let's start off with what we're going to do to prepare ourselves, to get ourselves in the right mindset for the holiday season when we have difficult family members or difficult coworkers, people in our life that we really dread being around, and yet we still want to participate in the holiday festivities. So, first of all, when you have to face the difficulties of the holidays, the difficult relationships, understand you're not alone. It's really easy during the holidays to get into a mindset that I'm the only one dealing with this. I'm one of the few people that has to deal with this kind of struggle. We listen to people talk about their excitement of going home for the holidays, seeing their parents. My kids are coming in for Thanksgiving. We're going to see the grandkids this year. All of these beautiful family scenes that we want for ourselves. We want that hallmark moment, and yet we have a struggle reaching it. Understand that Yes, people are excited about the holidays, but very often, even as they talk about their excitement, they're dreading certain aspects too. No one has a perfect family. Very few people can go into the holiday season with no stress whatsoever about their relationships in their life. Everyone's struggling a bit, and that's okay. We might have struggles getting along. We might not always have a perfect family situation. There is no hallmark family. That's okay. Understand you're not alone in that. Understand that it's okay to deal with the difficulty. We just have to deal with it. It doesn't have to be perfect. The next thing to know going in is to understand your own boundaries. Where's the line? We do have to put up with stuff. If we're going to have relationships, we can't expect people to be perfect. We're going to have to put up with some garbage. We're going to have to put up with some stuff that people say, some people's abrasive personalities. Some people are obnoxious, and unfortunately, sometimes we're kin to them. And so we're going to have to deal with those personality types. We're going to have to be patient. We're going to have to be tolerant of people, and we're going to have to deal with who they are and just understand that's who they are. But there's a limit. Know where your boundary is. Know where your line is. Know where to say, this is too far. We all have to put up with stuff, but there's a limit. And so know what that is for you. Don't wing it. Don't go into a family function waiting to see when your buttons are going to get pushed and how far you're going to let them push you. Go in with an understanding of this is what I can be patient about, this is what I can tolerate, and this I cannot. And be clear about that, and even be clear about that before you get there. When you have opportunity, kind of prepare your family. This is what I will tolerate, and this is what I won't. Be clear about that if there's been problems in the past. Know where your boundaries are and don't keep them a secret. Third, have a plan. If things go bad, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Make sure you're not stuck. If you say, well, if this gets bad, I'm leaving, and yet you drove with other people who are not, that's not going to go well. You have to have a place to go. You have to have a way to escape if things get bad. And so have a plan. Know when you're going to leave and know how you're going to leave if things cross the line into an unacceptable place for you. Again, we have to be patient. We have to tolerate, but there's a limit. And when that limit is reached, when things get abusive or toxic, make sure you have a plan of how you're going to handle that and where you're going to go and how you're going to get there. And understand that it's okay to follow that plan because your health, your physical safety, or your mental health is more important than that holiday function. Now, I know the holidays are important and family is important and having an experience with your coworkers is important. All of these holiday festivities are important. I'm not trying to belittle those or undermine how great they are and how important they are in our culture. But your mental health, your physical safety is more important. And so when that is in jeopardy, it's okay to follow your plan and get out. It's okay to set that boundary because your health and your safety is more important than the holiday functions. Do not put those traditions above your own health and safety. And finally, if it really does get bad, and this goes on year after year, and you have to admit this is not going to get better. No matter what boundaries I set, no matter how much I talk about this is not getting better. There may come a time that you have to make a very difficult choice and no longer attend those family functions. No longer attend those things where your health and safety are in jeopardy with that family or with that function. And so understand that family is not just about kinship. It's about love. And you can form healthy, thriving, family-type relationships with people you're not kin to. That may come to that. And that's hard. That's going to cause a grief process. That's going to be a difficult journey, but it is possible. And so if you're in a place where you're envious of those people who have those great holiday experiences and you don't even have a family to go to because they're abusive and toxic, understand you can form family type relationships with people you love, even if you are not kin to them. Family is more about love than it is about kinship. So, to recap, you're not alone. A lot of people struggle this time of year with the relationships in their lives and how they're going to deal with them. Know what your boundaries are, and when those boundaries get crossed, have a plan to know what you're going to do and how you're going to handle it, and a plan of escape if you need to leave. Understand that it's okay to follow that plan because your health and safety is more important than that family function. A lot of people in your family may argue otherwise. They may try to guilt you because you ruined the family dinner. That's okay. Your health and safety is more important. And understand if it comes to it, the very sad reality is sometimes we need to form another family unit. And that can be done because family is more about love than it is about kinship. Now, this is the mindset we need to go in with. In the next part of the program, we're going to talk about a couple of really basic things that you can do, little rules that you can follow that will help you live this out. Once you get this mindset in place, things that you can do that will be helpful to you to keep things going well and make good decisions along the way. But first, let me take a moment to give you some very exciting news. I want to tell you about my book, Learning Love, Building a Life That Matters and Healthy Relationships That Last. This is a book I self-published last year, but it has now been picked up by Morgan James Publishing. It will be available nationwide wherever books are sold in 2025, and pre-orders will be available soon. So check my website, markahicks.com, and pre-order Learning Love as soon as it's available. Let me give you a little inside information about the publishing world. For first-time authors like me, booksellers keep a very close eye on pre-orders. So if you're inclined to buy the book, and I hope you are, please take the time to pre-order the book. That will help ensure its wide distribution and promotion from booksellers nationwide. And in the meantime, you can go to my website, markahicks.com, and get my free ebook, The 5 Components of Love. It's a preview and an overview of what I teach in Learning Love. Get the 5 Components of Love as a free ebook available on my website, markahicks.com, and keep an eye out for pre-orders of Learning Love, Building a Life That Matters, and Healthy Relationships That Last. Now, in the second half of the program, let's take a look at some practical guidelines, some very practical tips that you can follow to make things go a little better for you as you're navigating these holiday functions with family or co-workers or people in your community. The first part of the program was all about mindset, putting together your plan, knowing your boundaries, knowing what you're going to do if things go badly, and having a plan to help things go well. In the second portion of the program, we're going to look at some practical guidelines. And first, I want to say, be careful with alcohol. There's a tendency to think that if you're in a stressful situation, you can have a drink or two and kind of lighten up a bit, and that might help you relax. Well, if you keep it to a drink or two, depending on your body weight and all kinds of other factors, maybe that's the case. I know that having a drink is part of the holiday cheer for a lot of people. I'm not criticizing that. I'm just saying be careful. Because if you use this to try to relax and to try to get through this holiday function and you overindulge, that can cause some problems. Very rarely has alcohol helped someone be more patient. Very rarely does alcohol help someone be more tolerant, handle a situation with more wisdom. Alcohol generally doesn't bring wisdom. Yes, it might help you relax a bit if you keep it to moderate portions. But if you start to overindulge, it's very likely you're not going to make as good of decisions in those stressful situations. So just be careful. It's fine to have a little holiday cheer if you want to, but understand if you go too far, your plan may go out the window. All that mindset work that you did, all that planning, all that pre work of getting yourself into a good place mentally and emotionally to handle this goes out the window when we overindulge with alcohol. So just be careful. Another thing to do is to try to stay relaxed. These can be tense situations. It can be difficult to navigate these family functions. And so try to relax. Little things like taking deep breaths can really help. You can do that quietly. It doesn't have to be something dramatic. You don't have to get into a meditation or anything like that. Just make sure you take some time to take some deep breaths and take some time to take a little break. Go outside, get a breath of fresh air. Maybe just go to the other room and get a glass of water. Just take a break occasionally. Excuse yourself, get away from the crowd, get away from the group, and just take a moment to recuperate, to recenter yourself, to take some deep breaths, and let yourself relax. If you're in a tense situation, but you're hanging in there and things are going okay, don't just stay in the pressure cooker. Take some breaks along, and that will help things stay, hopefully, in a decent place so that you can try to enjoy yourself. But don't push it. If you start to feel yourself get tense, take a little break and try to stay as relaxed as you can. And finally, make sure, whether things go badly or things go well, take some time to recover. Plan for that. Plan your recovery time. If you are traveling to see family, maybe come back the day before you have to go back to work, to have a full day to recover from that trip if you know it's going to be a stressful time with family. If you're going for the day, come back a couple of hours before you want to go to bed. Don't get back late and have to go straight to bed because you're probably not going to sleep well if you've been tense throughout the whole day. Come back early, just a couple of hours, and give yourself some time to recuperate from those tense situations. Even if it goes well, that's good, but we might need some time to recuperate after. And so build in that time. Plan for it. Give yourself some time to recuperate. Even if it goes great, take some time to celebrate. If things go well because you were patient, you were tolerant, you knew where your boundaries were, you had a plan, and because you had a plan, you can be relaxed. You can just let things unfold because you know where your boundaries are and you know where your escape is if you need to. So you can just relax and try to enjoy yourself and plan some time to recuperate, to recover, and to celebrate if it goes well, and maybe to lick your wounds a bit, maybe to recover if it doesn't go well. Have some time to recuperate. Plan that into your schedule. Unfortunately, the holidays can be stressful times for relationships, so plan for it. Plan to have as relaxing a time as you can because you've got the right mindset, you've got a plan, you know your boundaries, you know what you're going to do if things go well, and you know what you're going to do if things go badly. You're not going to overindulge in alcohol. You're going to take some time, some breaks along the way to make sure you stay as relaxed as possible. And if things go well, take some time to celebrate. And if things don't go well, take some time to recuperate. But plan that time of recovery into your schedule if at all possible. If you do these things, even if you have some dysfunction in your family, even if you're dealing with some very difficult people, this can help you enjoy the holiday season as much as possible.
Thank you for joining me on the Learning Love podcast. If you're ready to live your life of love, visit my website, markahicks.com, to get my free ebook, The 5 Components of Love. And coming in 2025, my new book from Morgan James Publishing, Learning Love, Building a Life That Matters and Healthy Relationships That Last. Pre-orders will be available soon. And remember, love is the answer. Now all we have to do is explore all the questions. Love well, everyone.